You are the one who voted for us. Must do oversight on your behalf as different constituencies. So this portfolio committee is the one responsible that is doing oversight to the department. That is why we have ideas and share your good work that you are doing. If there are any challenges, you tell us. If everything is all right, you also tell us that now. Portfolio committee or ours today is to look at the funding, access and challenges related to the service delivery that are experienced or affecting the home and community-based care centers as well as HIV. And I want to reiterate that for us as the committee to be able to address the problems that you are facing, you need to that you are experiencing on a daily basis, while we together propose the solution that will improve service delivery to our people. We will get inputs from funded and unfunded drop-in centers. So make it clear with us if you are not funded, with us if you are not funded, that yes, today I'm here, share with us what made you to be in the situation, what made you to be in the situation where you are not funded, where you are not funded. We want to focus mainly on this financial year that is ending on the 31st March. Financial year that is ending on the 31st March. That is the financial year 2025, 22, financial year 2025, 2026, 26. If you feel like this committee was then established around July 2024, so do share with us, but remember, is Johannesburg here or they are still on their way? I can see a sizable number. Is Sidibeng here? Okay. Is Ekuruleni here? Tswane knows each other very well. I can tell that in Tswane they know each other. Let me also declare you can delegate. Even the Section 79 committees, if they do have, most of the municipalities, honorable members, they don't have that. I think that is something. Is the chairman MMC John? Give MMC John. Give MMC. Just choose any chair. You can come sit next to me if you like. Okay, that was drafted by the researcher and the team from this committee. And then it's titled, Exploring the Strategy. Here is the Alpha and Omega. That's why we called you. But if you went through it, you will see that it touches some of the challenges that you have. 2 million less than what they used to. And then when they look at this reduced, government answered you that go get the food there. It is transport. Where is the manpower? Where is this? Where is this? In those, as per our program. And I want to guide our presenters as well. You don't need to have a PowerPoint. They are ready to present. Or you just look at it and said, it's a round table, I can talk. Do we have others who have presentations that we have to load so they can load them now? Another memory stick, or I see that side. It's a... In
fact, mine says it's for the sect. I think I must be the one who does.
All right. So you've got a presentation for all of them. It's kind of funded drop-in centers. And I also want you to address the funded or unfunded community basis. So that presentation must be all, because I don't want to start with this one and then we engage easier as the committee. So is your presentation ready?
I just gave a stick so that it
because
can
I
be
want
loaded.
you to come in.
Now, before you gave over to the presentations, I don't seem to have that document or know about it, but I might be the only one.
The document, Sipo, my understanding is that all the stakeholders must be having this document, isn't it? So where did you send it to? Which region? Okay. No, we'll solve it. Where are you from? Johannesburg? Raise your hand. Coordinator Johannesburg, raise your hand. You see, it's also not here. Okay, John, let us speak. Okay, that's coordinator. Ekurhuleni, where's the coordinator? Did all Ekurhuleni people who are here, do they have it? The coordinator didn't have it in Ekurhuleni. Didn't have it. Who was responsible to circulate it from our offices? Maybe let us talk to you directly. In that,
right now we're coming with an approach to say, let's rather get their emails and send them as they are here. Because the documents that are here are about 30. So there's a difficulty of giving them.
they are 30. So leave about 7 here, 7 here, 3 here, 10 there. Well, the proposal is that if they can get your email, all of you, don't depend on your coordinator anymore. But you can see it's not the coordinator's problem. From Sidibeng, the provincial coordinator, did you receive it? Provincial coordinator.
We did send the document to the provincial coordinator.
Yeah,
I got it now.
but before you didn't. I'm asking this is that so that honorable members you can see. Asking this is that so that honorable members you can see. It must be a freestyle kind of a engagement. So I'm not. Will present something that he said he didn't receive it. Hey, we're not Betan, but you are lying. Betan. Okay. Where is the coordinator from CBDB? Did you receive the document? Okay. A coordinator from... check your... Dada Betan, you're going to help us, ne? Dada Ngani or Noli? Oh, suddenly they have it. Okay, no, it's different. So Western, you have it. That are here for us. We'll do so now. Ne? But Betani, we want you to assist also. Because you've got all their details and you have. I want these people in this house to have this document. Can you circulate it? And then maybe let us take a 5 minutes break where you are now going to be getting this. of you must just share it among yourselves. So, and you already have it now. They're still sending it. Noni? Sipo, even MMC doesn't have it. Yes, yes, there.
All right, thanks, Chair. This is just to give an overview of the sector. As I've indicated, the chairperson in the province. What we're just going to give you, it's for you to understand the children's sector and the purpose of the sector, the vision, the values, how the sector is composed, as well as the sector focus areas and initiative by the sector, as well as limits and no funding. Just to quickly go through the overview, the purpose of the children's sector is basically to promote children as vulnerable groups, especially in the country, council. And then we also have to ensure commitment to South African Action Plan as a country member of the Global Alliance to eliminate AIDS. Afforded the resources and action that will enable implementation. Ensure that information relating to children and the pandemic is shared from local level prevention and respond to HIV, TB and STIs. And then our vision as a sector is to create child. This vision is rooted in South Africa's constitutional commitment to children's rights. Section 28 of South African Constitution explicitly provides social services as well as the right to be protected from malnutrition and neglect, abuse, degradation. The values, number one, creating a safe haven from children, empower children to protect themselves, advocate for children's justice, empower every future. And then this, colleagues, is just a theory of change that we apply as a sector when we deal with challenges. I'll try and be quickly. Our sector vulnerability in all aspects of the children's life, especially HIV, TB, STIs. And our objectives, 95% of children living with HIV to know their status, 95 of them to be on treatment, and 95 of those on treatment, TB, STI infection in children, and eliminate vertical transmission, mother-to-child transmission of HIV. To enable children in addressing, so of the children living with HIV know their status, 95 of them are on treatment, 95 of those are retained in care and achieve a long-term viral. Safe community for children and adolescents, young people to be protected from harm, broken down barriers in reaching children and adolescents that are child-centered and right-based. There will be effective community support to sustain the implemented interventions, activities pertaining to the reduction of the new HIV, facilitate efficient implementation of planned activities. The sector will have effective partnership with Department of Social Development, Education, Health, and all relevant stakeholders in order to of policies that affect children to be consistent and aligned. Inputs and outputs, activities per program implemented, center organization. And then community needs assessment, desired outcomes and impact, a longer quality life in the community, especially internalized stigma, discrimination and human rights violation against children living with HIV and TB. We have a provincial leadership in the province. However, we do have a national structure, but this presentation is mainly for the province secretary and the deputy secretary, as well as the organizer. And then we do have leadership in all 5 regions, starting from south, west, north corridor, which include first and second deputy, but we're still working on the deputy secretary and the organizer post. And then as a sector, we have about 58 chairperson DICs in the province. The rest of the NPOs that I've mentioned, they do home-based care on after schools for children. I'm sure my colleagues will get into that. The sector focus area, 30 as per National Strategic Plan for HIV. And then number 2, our priority is to reduce hunger amongst the vulnerable children in our communities. Promoting advocacy, policy development in the interest of children and adolescents. Securing resources, funding, NPO compliance, and stakeholders. HIV prevention programs through social mobilization. We conduct awareness campaigns to reduce stigma, discrimination, educational care. We say know your status. We do risk assessment on children, and then we ensure that children, they get tested, and then we ensure that children, they adhere to treatment, as well as adolescents. And then on psychosocial support, we basically provide basic counseling, might be encountering. And then we also have support groups for children and adolescents and caregivers to address issues around stigma and discrimination and HIV disclosure. We also do social behavioral change in our collective in a sustainable way using evidence-based community strategies, i.e. Yoyolo, Chomi, men to be boys. And then these are some of the programs that we participate in with limited funds or no funding at all, Chair, to ensure that they return to care and maintain heart adherence, thereby leading to a viral load suppression. So this is one of the programs. They have taken the resources away. We don't have any kind of support to do this program. And then support groups offers emotional support and psychosocial support to HIV positive children and their families, creating community of shared experiences and mutual assistance. This one, Chair, support groups, we improvise, and then childcare forums and children's summit. This initiative provides a platform with a wide variety of engagement, own challenges and problems. So this one, Chair, it's where children, they come together, where they can actually provide solutions to their problems, so that we don't sit as leaders or as center managers and always make decisions on behalf of the children. So that is one of the programs that we are learning. And then last page, Chair, is just the provincial leaders that I've listed there. And I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much. We don't have the provincial overall on home-based.
I do have, Chair, the overall total of CHPC. It's a matter of me deducting the number that I've
presentation. You were concentrating on children. I want you to tell me a story about their home base now. Don't you have a presentation on that?
And then, as a sector, as I've indicated, that we have a home-based care, which is a community of their services through door-to-door and through home visits. And what they do through that, they do identify vulnerable children in the community, and then they basically beneficiaries with relevant services, and then provide the food parcels to those particular families that are vulnerable, and so that they can process them and take them through their process. And one of the challenges that we encountered around sustainable livelihood, it was the requirements, because basically, but mostly they focus on unemployed youth, unemployed people. So when we referred our beneficiaries to that particular directorate, they were subjected to those requirements. And it's something that we advocated for, to say these requirements are not relevant to our beneficiaries, because our beneficiaries, some they don't have parents and some are children, and the issue of employment to them doesn't apply because of their conditions. But we've come to an understanding where they've come up with the second criteria to meet our beneficiaries halfway. But we did submit the list, especially December, November, where most of the children did not receive food parcels during that period because of unknown reasons. But when we inquired, they said it's procurement processes that delayed the process. And when we came back from the holidays, I think in January, they started to distribute food parcels for October. And I think we've registered our plea with our regional coordinators, because the responsibilities of food parcels lies with the corridors. So we've advised our to in fact follow up so that we know what is the plan with these outstanding food parcels, because a minimum home-based care chair, it provides services to about a minimum of 100 households, and then going up, it depends. And you'll find that we are being allocated 29 food parcels, and you'll find that it's not sufficient for the beneficiaries, and we have to alternate the beneficiaries. And it's a problem because they are used to receiving food parcels, and now we had to come back and tell them that we are unable to accommodate them because of the budget has been taken away from us, because the government indicates that they do not have money. And it's a difficult process to take through beneficiaries to make them understand that they can't receive a food parcel like they used to before. So we are in that juncture, Chair. And the other problem that it's a problem to the sector is that for the past 5 years, since the new premier emerged, the sector used to receive 7% based on inflation. But since the new premier and the new administration took over, the sector has suffered a lot of inconveniences, because that's where the budget cuts started. And I think from the first time when we heard of this budget cut, I think it was cut about 70% our budget. And as a sector, we found ourselves having to go and protest in the streets. And then subsequently, the premier returned the budget. But after returning the budget, that financial year, we continued without increments and anything. Then the following year, that is where we saw compliance being used against dropping centers, where dropping centers were not funded. I think in Ekurhuleni, in COJ, luckily Tshwane managed to convert all their dropping centers to CHBC. So we had to convince City of Central Corridor and Eastern Corridor to do the same as Tshwane, because the implications that time, we had number of people who went unemployed because of those 62 dropping centers that were not funded to pertaining to the health certificates. I think, Chair, you indicated that you have municipalities who have bylaws certificates. So we had members who were affected, who were 64, who had to convert their services from cooking to offering food parcels because of the NPOs. And then the following year, Chair, we managed to make sure that those particular NPOs are funded, even though we had challenges that year, because I think they were funded in the third quarter. They had to omit the first quarter, even though they have signed the SLA. I think they were given the SLA, but because the department was taken to court, the application process and all that. And then I think the department was informed or instructed by the court to make sure that people who were funded the previous year are funded, but do not government processes being slow and all that, Chair. And then subsequent to that, when we tried to accommodate back our colleagues who were away from the project, and then we faced this challenge of food parcels being taken away by the department, citing budget cuts and all that. And it was even worse because those funds, Chair, we usually utilize them for different purposes. Sometimes we buy school uniform for children with that 1,000 rand allocation, which they reduced to 500. We buy school uniform if children do not have attend maybe home affairs, or there's something that needs transportation or resources for the child. We utilize that budget for that. And even conducting the support groups, we used to tap in 500 rand. And when we engaged with the department around the psychosocial support allocation, they told us that we do have a PSS. And as NPOs, we only have two. I think the NPO that has a lot, it can be 3 of those particular individuals. And they are expected to provide those services to about 300 children, 3 people per month. So when we argue to say, you expect us to capacitated in the organization to do that particular services. And it doesn't stop there, Chair, because we train people every year because they internships for CYCs and all that. We accommodate students to do practicals. And then when these students, they graduate, Chair, because of their own stipends of 2.4, when they get other opportunities from other spaces, they just leave. And then as NPOs, we are left with no capacity. And we need to retrain people. And it's constraining because we're dealing with critical issues in the community. And to keep on changing staff members every year, to us, it's a problem. Because we have this EPWP program that we are running, which pays a stipend of 2.4, of which we are expected to hire youth fresh from school. We are expected to hire women, etc., of which we don't have a problem with that, but expected to operate as fully employed because they are guided by the labor laws. They are expected to work 8 hours for 2.4. And that is demotivating because
looks like they are on load shedding and there is no air circulation. Thank you. Even that one, open it. You gave a nice presentation on overall, but the main purpose why I brought you here is what you are saying. That's why I was not, but it's not written because the document must be with SIPO, must be polished and then be a presentation of this committee. But carry on.
So we left with staff members who are demotivated because of this stipend that they are getting. And some have trainings, but we can't absorb them. Saying, look, these people are trained, some have experience. How about we top up their funds? They said, no, it means if you want us to meet the minimum, that's what we are being told. They must cut them into half, then they can get the minimum wage. So that is the stumbling block that we have. And our cry, Chair, is that we can't train people as a sector and then allow people to go with skills. And then we are unable to utilize those people to come back and make sure that we have capacity. We are in a position to deal with these issues. Like for instance, now in our communities, Chair, as much as we are dealing with HIV, trying to end it by 2030, but now we have new drivers. We have drug abuse in our communities. We also have gender-based violence, which is a contributing factor. And the unemployment also, it's also a problem. So with us not having capacity to deal with these problems, it becomes impossible for us to, in fact, end this mission of ending HIV by 2030. So, Chair, our plea also is that the compliance part, we've seen it being used or being misinterpreted, misinterpreted by the officials. This past financial year, I think the current financial year, when it started, there was this national register process that we had to embark on. And that compliance, Chair, we believe it was used only to our sector, just to destabilize our sector and make sure that we don't have resources. And then it was not applied to other directorates who are also working, only applied to us. And we had to comply with that process, Chair, until Q2, until the Q2 ended. And then we had to go and plead with the HOD to look. So the interpretation of these policies is also a challenge. And we also believe that when someone that interpretation without challenging the interpretation, and we have officials that come and enforce those policies, and when we engage with them, and then they apply things that we've noted with the officials, the entitlement. And when we raise issues, is like...
What is in that sentence of intimidation? What is the popular word or the popular saying from?
We don't appreciate, etc. So we will challenge them with these things when they come with them. Also understand that as NPOs, somehow there are issues where maybe there is non-compliance and all that. We understand. But we don't want an approach where funds are mismanaged by two individuals. And you find now the rest of the staff and the beneficiaries now must suffer because of an individual. So what we are crying is that in the SLA, ensure that this sector has capacity. As I've indicated, the issue of capacity is a problem to us. The Pick and Pay. And they said, but they get retrenched in 6 months, and then they come back, and it's a problem. So, Chair, let me hold it there. The regions, I think, they will...
Normally, if you can share with us, the people you are crying about, and then you are pleased that if they can reconsider to give them a little bit better.
Yes, we're crying that if they can be considered so that they don't leave us, because every time they get opportunities, they leave. Yeah, and they are empowered, they live with skills. So that's our cry.
You've said a mouthful now. Start. And now when it goes to the regions, you are now going to get your chance, because the region will present after the next, which today you are having an opportunity to present it to the committee, always had. This is the most important opportunity that you always wanted. So here you are having it today. As the 7th administration, start with me as the chair, you see. I want to give Ekurhuleni, tell you what will be our proposed way forward, which will be a proposal of the committee, of course. So Ekurhuleni will do the after Ekurhuleni has done the presentation, members from Ekurhuleni will give more inputs if they feel like they want to add. If the presentation covered, they will say, no, we are covered. Then we will off time, and because we didn't make presentation on this, this is what we wanted to share with the committee. It's also recorded. That's why we have the booth, that's why we have record. That's why we made a declaration that this is we're hurting you. And you have also proposed solutions that you have always preached time and again. And then here, at least today, they are recorded today, and then you will like to see action. Some of the question you might ask is that how can we trust you as the committee that whatever we are raising here, we are still gonna face the same problem? Then we will be able to tell you how normally this house, which you didn't believe works, is here, is working for you, how you can see is gonna be assisting you to make sure that the department account responsibly. Ekurhuleni, are you ready? Yes. You can continue. Okay, just hold on. The interpreters are here. There is a gadget like this sitting next to you. If you don't have them, they are going to distribute them. Ne? Gadgets like this. You can wear these gadgets. And then channel 1, you're going to change it here on the side. There is a volume on the other side, and then you change the channels on the other side. Channel 1 is English. Channel 2 is Sesotho or Setswana. Channel 3 is Sesotho or Setswana. isiZulu or Xhosa is channel 2. Afrikaans is channel 5. Tshivenda, Xitsonga is channel 4. We are doing this thing so you can follow in your own vernac, such that if you want to make inputs in your own language, feel free to put them. So we don't, this is the people that you have elected and you want to communicate with them directly using your own. So wear them, and then you can press those channels. I repeat, 1 is English, 3 is Sesotho, 2 is Zulu, Xhosa, 5 is Afrikaans, 4 is Tshivenda. If you don't have them, don't worry, they are going to give them to you. But Ekurhuleni, you can carry on.
Evening, everyone. Morning. I thought it's night. On presenting DICs, which converted into HBCs because of the compliance. So point to on food and nutrition. And then we got capacity building and skills development. And lastly is psychosocial support. On compliance, it's more than 45% of our DICs were converted into HBCs due to the fact that they were deemed as non-compliant in relation to DIC prerequisite that had a negative, rather a detrimental effect to service delivery, especially the provision of daily cooked meals to both orphans and vulnerable children.
Just while you are there, what is this DICs? Drop-in centers.
Yes.
Then, when was this? Because you see, 45% of them, yes, they were now forced to convert into HCBAC.
Home-based.
Yes, and then how many people were left out because of this reason? It is something that you must put into HCBC. There are a lot of people that were left because of this policy.
Exactly.
So it will be very nice if the committee can understand, honorable members, that yes, as the department, you quickly now said these drop-in centers must from MMC.
Yes.
And then, and then MMC together with us and the department, we could have come up with some solution to say, don't kill this. Rather, let's politician. Unfortunately, when we are here, we are not politicians. We are the legislators. So we must just speak to the and the facts, and we part of the recommendation is to say, let us look at this. This thing is the one that really demoralized the entire Gauteng region. That is why people are not happy with government, because of this. So you can carry on. You see why I wanted your regions to go down.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chair, for that. I'll just give an example of Ecuador. We are talking of 9,600 beneficiaries who were affected with this. Certificate in approved building plan by the municipality, fire and safety compliance, notice attainable from the municipality, fire department, wind as community facilities. Those operations in school cannot get approved building plans, as some of these schools were established long time ago where legislation was not enforced. So you find out that most of these schools were more than 40 years, and we cannot get. And the municipalities' bylaws do not cover the dropping centers, that it becomes a challenge applying for a health certificate. In actual fact, what we are saying here is that most of the municipalities doesn't have bylaws which talks directly to us as dropping centers. Currently, as Ekurhuleni municipality, metropolitan municipality has advised entities, those that were applying for the renewal of the health certificate, that they no longer issue out health certificate, but they issue health reports that are valid for 7 consecutive years. No formal memo has been populated as yet. Still on compliance, we then have NARSO certificates, which is the National Registration for Sex Offenders Register. NPOs were under a surge of nearly forfeiting funding for the second quarter for the 2025-2026 due to non-availability of the off-mentioned that was 3 hours, but the required documents, those are those of in-house institutions. What we are saying that we don't spend much time with this, but what they require is something which is done in ECDs who spend the whole day with the children. With staff turnover, it becomes a challenge to intercept a new person into the program, as they would not be in the position to having the NARSO certificate. In Ekurhuleni region, the clusters, we've got 5 clusters. Thus, that 6% inflation is not applicable at all. Not applicable at all. Year in, year out, we still receive the same budget. When it comes to deviation, I want to say to you that when it comes to our trenches, we might be getting our trench in June, or we'll get with the 2 budgets. And once the quota is done, then it will make our life easier to carry out our activities and help our beneficiaries as the best we know. All these people are vulnerable. And now you are given 29 food parcels, which you get once after 3 months. And the food parcels, only to send that list and you don't get the food parcel. And now it seems to our beneficiaries that we are receiving those food parcels and we are misusing them, because we go to them and get the names, and the next thing we don't receive those food parcels. So they're actually creating, I don't know what to call it. I want to capacity and skills development. I think my chair, we are training people and then they are not being recognized. Lastly, we used to get on psychosocial support. The issue of cutting the budget, I know that my chair did cover me on this one, but I'll just mention that really up every day. It's like they're giving us a basket to go and fetch water to the river. Don't read it anyway. And this is what our government is doing to us. And remember, we are staying with the. I'm done.
Thank you, Dade. Is that Ekurhuleni? Maybe can we take the next region? Is there another region that would like to present?
And then I'm going to, okay, some of the things I won't be covering them because they were covered by Ekurhuleni and also our provincial chairperson. And then from Merafong, we have got 5 organizations. We've got 2 drop-in centers. And we have got 3 community home centers and 2 community home-based cares. And then from Khale Rural, we have got 9 NPOs. We have got 3 drop-in centers and 5 development and the operation of our organizations. Maybe making a typical example. In the last financial year,
Give us just 4 of those complaints. If you can remember from the top of your head that they lost because they didn't have compliance on this, they didn't have compliance of this, they didn't have a compliance of
mostly
this.
is the health certificate. That is an issue.
They have everything
Yes.
except health certificate.
Yes.
Except health certificate.
Yeah, the health certificate.
Who issued that health certificate?
Yeah, the health certificate.
Who issued that health certificate?
When you go to Ekurhuleni, you go to Westland, they are not the same. So that is an issue. And in one of the sessions that we had with social development, in that sphere it's limited.
I want to. You're not the first presenter that mentioned an MEC for social development. Why are you pitching it on Premier? If I may ask. Because you guys, all of you, you are saying Premier. Everything Premier. Were you coached somewhere to Premier? What is going on? Okay, I just want to correct you that I'm the portfolio chairperson for social development. There is an OCPOL, which is a committee that deals with
community home-based cares because of compliance. So I think in a nutshell, that is the story from Western. Thank you.
So that if there is somebody from Ekurhuleni who want to say something to add, so we don't close you out. Yes, Western. Your name and...
addition to the presentation done by our regional chairperson. So I think it will be clearer because that must ensure that if you register for a DIC, they are the ones that has to support for a DIC. They are the ones that has to support you in conjunction with the I was operating from a school. So because of COVID, GDE instructed or is of COVID, GDE instructed or is of COVID. So unfortunately, in 2021, signed the SLA. What's the reason? No, the reason is that you have relocated. So as a result, you need to develop that land, to get shipping containers, to fence the place, to do whatever that was needed. Here comes the catch. I go to municipality, they come and do their inspection, and they approve. They give me a health certificate. I remember they approved 69 beneficiaries for us to support. Then DSD didn't approve that. They said we want to do monitoring in conjunction with municipality. We're gonna come again at the center to ensure. They came to the center along with municipality, having the health certificate, which the department was rejecting. You know what was the excuse? Your floor is not smooth. Therefore, we cannot fund you. After doing the whole inspection. And before they could come to the center, they've sent social workers to come and do a site visit. And as they were doing a site visit, I gave the social worker a task to say, we are nearby an informal settlement. Let me go and show that those people are living in so that you can get an understanding why there is a need for funding. You know what was the response? I can't go in there with a white trouser. No, it's fine. And then I was called. And I was told that please bear in mind that from the time that we were fixing without being compliant, you're going to forfeit the funding. I forfeited that funding for the next coming 2 years. In the midst of everything, I even went to Human Rights Commission to lay a charge to show them how human rights were violated by the department. It was a case that took quite some time, being in and out, moving that side. Consultations were done, but at the end of the day, the DG then supported the decision of the crew that was against that, and I forfeited. I ended up writing a letter to request to be deviated to a CHBC. Remember that time we've got 300 beneficiaries with their families. I've got staff members who went 2 years without stipend. Beneficiaries went 2 years without being serviced. Just for the sake of the floor. It wasn't smooth enough to their liking. So I just wanted to give you just a piece. That is just a cream of an iceberg of what has transpired. And that is what is transpiring in other regions also, that you find people just accepting to be converted to a CHBC because of such reasons. I thank you.
So Simple. There is a unit there called monitoring and evaluation. Those are the most powerful people. Ne? We might have to invite them in our meetings. Ne? Honorable members, there is a powerful team at the regional or the corridor level called monitoring and evaluation. Those ones with a scrap of a pen, they can scrunch you when you are out. And you can do whatever you do, there is nothing that you can do. Then you are forced from being a DIC to something that requires. So that I'm done with West Rand. Ne? I want to come to Ekurhuleni. Ekurhuleni, what a nice presentation, straight to the point with facts. Is there something that you... Hand number 2, hand number 3, and then we'll close. Straight to the point.
Good morning. My name is Isaac Nsani from Ekurhuleni. My challenge is to buy to certain shops. And we do buy from macro, you name it, your cash and carry and so on. But the food parcel that you are receiving, it's not the same. Some of the parcels are written, don't sell. Now we're asking a question, if the department is buying food parcel that some of the items are written, don't sell, used to give us rotten food. And we fought that. They returned back the food parcel to the organization. It's the second time they're doing this away from us. And the sad part about the issue of the food parcel, it's about sustainable livelihood want us to give reasons why are we giving our people food and to choose. And also we cannot give this
the social workers say regarding the intimidation. We are told that if you don't do this and that, you should know that she will do is to shout you or to call your names. As you can see, leadership, if you can look at me properly, I'm shaking. This condition is because of the bullying that I'm receiving from the social workers. I've got depression at the moment, and the doctors are unable to help me. It's now 10 years. I have to support my neck with the hand each and every day because even the cuffs don't work. I'm told, actually last year, the social auxiliary that was working with us was dismissed because they say she doesn't know how to do the reports. And while they were on that process to dismiss that social auxiliary, I was told it's to say, you are next. There is a lot that is happening. Even the report which is going to be presented at the panels, one of the people that is working with that social worker said, if that report can be read during the panel, you must just forget. You can't get funding. We are actually experiencing a lot in the organizations. And we were forced to elect board members. We used their own method to say, give these people maybe 15 or 20, give them the forms so that they can elect people that they like. On that process, if you follow that process, when they came and find that already you have elected the people that they don't like, elect. I know 2 organizations that they were forced to elect board members. After electing those new board members, she went to those people and speak against the manager so that they can fire those managers. It's about new board members. She will go and say, if this person doesn't do 1, 2, 3, you've got the power to say, get out. When they fire her, she had lost her child through accident. And within that, whereby she was still crying for her child, she was dismissed. The other organization, a lot that is happening in our organizations. I want you to look at me. Look what's happening. Go to the doctors, they tell me it's the stress, and I know I've got a lot of stress. That's what is happening in my life now. My children, my family, my husband, they see me as I am now because of the social workers. So right now, in November, we wrote a complaint letter to the supervisor, but we didn't have any response from her to say we can't take it anymore because this lady, when she comes, she makes it difficult. I don't know what to say, but really, really, I'm experiencing a lot. Thank you.
All right. Dumelang. My name is Silas Komete from Ekurhuleni. The late payments of trenches, the forfeiting of trenches without any engagement with the organization people. Some they come from different provinces, they come to Gauteng for a better life and they see there's an organization that they can volunteer. And you cannot even ask when is the trench coming in. And the answers that we'll get from the officials, they lead to stress, same me abuankason. We have people who need to take care of children and people who are and they will come to us as managers and say, Silas, when are we getting paid? And Lorena, we don't know when are we getting paid. The 3 months passes without any payment. And that causes a stress. Remember, they need to encourage the people who are on treatment. And some of them, as our members, our staff members, and they are not getting support. And they need to put a face of hope when they do the home visit to those families, but themselves are suffering. And not important, they'll tell you, you are volunteering. As managers, we are taken as people, when you're talking about the issues of money, it's like you are greedy. No, MPO, all right? In such an extent, even policies, they have been changed. As MPOs, in terms of how do we sustain ourselves as an organization, the department is depriving us because as organization outside, you cannot even, as an MPO, to have an invoice, for some other services. When you're having a training, you are forced to, go outside and go to business people. How do we sustain the organization without having project, as those are income generating projects, and the department does not recognize. When you do that, they're saying it's double dipping, which is a problem. Moving from the staff members, I'll come to managers. Ekurhuleni, we have buried Memli, her soul rest in peace. She called me at 11 o'clock to say, Silas, can you help as the chairperson? Department ifitile, but change the board members. This is what they want. High-ready paneling, we are going to lose. Unfortunately, Mam Lefe, she had a condition and a deteriorator after the stress. But no, the trench is forfeited. Silas, kikolota batu. Because when you run an organization, you know.
Okay.
All right, there is two, a manager. The family, they were saying, MPO. He's got stress, and the illness took over, and he passed on. And the last one came Mantwa Mufukeng. And she has 60 staff members.
3 + 2 + 3 + 4, then you forfeit.
Yes, it's the issue of NARSO, the issue of rezoning, the issue of
Sorted out that one as a committee.
Yes,
Are they still giving you problem with that? Yes. Even now?
Yeah.
All right, it's fine. Okay.
All right. It is the required for funding, yes. A report, and somebody said they are easily giving answers to say we are doing our job as the officials. When we point this thing to Tlou, I will tell you, but we cannot relate that thing to what is happening, you know, as if stress does not kill. All right? But when somebody has agui treatment, and the people, all right, as in conclusion, as MPOs, we've been compromised by the department. We have been compromised, and it leads to death.
Sanbonani, Elamikamo. I just want to add also on what Silas has just said with regards to Ubuntu organization, the one of the managers who passed to Mando. What the other thing with Ubuntu, for them to be taken through administration, and also Gucci, they are going to forfeit. Umantwa herself, then she was told, she was instructed by the department that she has to take over the other organization, and she had the responsibility for. So that's another thing which really was very stressful for her. And yet, at the end of the day, she was blamed for not doing the work, which added to can't be having. Coach, how many did she have?
23, then to 61.
She was just moved from 29 to 61. And so understand the responsibility of a CYCW. Understand. So now, with you being given that responsibility without being trained, and at the end of the day, you are being accused. So that's what I wanted to add with regards to Ubuntu. And my colleagues have already covered me with the issue of victimization. It is at its highest level. The issues have indicated, you know, we're being told how to run and get new board members. And even if there's no need for a new board member to be added into the organization, but the social workers, the monitoring social workers will tell you how to do it. To an extent of interfering, you know, the daily operations of the organization, whereby the project manager cannot even appoint the social auxiliary worker by herself. And that is a duty. You know, they have to appoint the social auxiliary worker and the administrator. In some of the organizations, you know, you get told this is your SO and this is your admin, and the manager, you know, agakwazi ukwenza lo msebenzi. Now the other thing is the compromising of our services.
Officials from DSD are the one who bring auxiliaries and board members for you. Okay.
They conduct interviews. That's what I'm saying. As the NPO manager, that's my responsibility. But no, when it comes to SO and admin, they bring those people. These are the people that you're going to work with. They've already done the interviews for you.
As an NPO.
As an NPO.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Now,
we are complete because we want to give other regions a chance.
The other thing is the compromising of our services, especially the psychosocial services, due to the indicators that are not well defined. That is why this program, it has been, the cost for that program has been reduced from 500 rands per month to 1,000 rand. And that is our core service as HCBCs and DICs, providing psychosocial support. How do you reduce it from 1,000 rand? Even 1,000 rand by itself is too little, because under that program, we are still expected to do a social and behavior change, YOLO, facilitate those sessions. Now, we know very well, if you facilitate those sessions without refreshments, the number of participants, you know, it's not going to increase. They won't come. And they tell you 9 about election. No, your sessions, no, nislalisa 1 hour without ugudla, and they don't come. And then at the end of the day, we see what? The rise in the social ills in our communities. We are already providing services in vulnerable communities. Most of our beneficiaries, they are coming from families where both parents are unemployed. Guardians, legal guardians are unemployed. You know, the challenge of not accessing social benefits. Why? Because of IDs. So then we working with families who are struggling to access even social benefits because of the personal identifying documents that they are struggling to get, because of parents who died with them before getting them those certificates. So now you want them to come for a session which is not going to provide refreshments. So they don't come. So that's why I'm saying that service, it's our core, but it has been compromised because it's not well defined. Obviously, M&E, and when also they beg, and then they get then EE response from Treasury, which, you know, you did not do well on PSS. What were you doing? Why? Because they indicate that we must do SPCC programs on top of the PSS. So we've got 2 important programs that are need 100 rands per month. What can we do with that for those 2 programs? And then we come to the issue of the SLA signing. It's always late. Organizations, we would have come up with an alternative instead of just moving that program to a sustainable livelihood, because the criteria used looking at economic development of the community. We are looking at the psychosocial issues of the community, the psychosocial well-being of the people, which has nothing to do with economic development. At the same time, when we're running the social and behavior change programs, we have to look into what empowering our communities in terms of uplifting their skills, in terms of, you know, making sure good. They did not take it into consideration. So there's quite a number of, but this one of them is staff composition framework and the funding, they didn't consider.
We are now going to give Johannesburg time to present, and then will be followed by Tswane for Johannesburg. If there are any other inputs, then we'll go to Tswane if there are any other inputs, and Sidibeng, and then we're gonna Johannesburg. Who's going to be presenting on behalf of Johannesburg? Okay. Okay, there. There are 2. Are you Tswane presenter? The problem with West, right? Johannesburg, and then Tshwane will present. Tshwane doesn't have a presentation, we'll just talk. And then Sidibeng, who's going to present for Sidibeng? I'm all right. But I don't see even one of you wearing this, so my interpreters, that side, they're just speaking to themselves. You see, I'm observing you, I see, but why is these people not wearing this? So if they can ask, not a single person was listening to Zulu or Sepedi and all that. It's a serious wasteful expenditure.
Community-based and non-residential that is responsible for protection.
Just give us your name. Your name, ne?
Okay, Muzi Keso. In strengthening community-based systems, there are key packages that are there to service within the others are still providing breakfast, lunch, and even supper meals as some of the beneficiaries, they go to bed hungry. Then there's psychosocial support that covers school uniform model that DIC operates as a community base, as I've mentioned earlier, guided by the Children's Act, base, as I've mentioned earlier, guided by the Children's Act, NPO Act, and the question plans, staff credential business question plans, staff credential business plan, discipline policies, and organizational structures. Discipline policies, and organizational structures. Our DIC struggle a lot on the
our next meeting.
Our DIC struggle a lot on the
our next meeting, we should ask the department that paragraph 2, if it has assisted NPO, if it has assisted NPO to be fully compliant. Now, if the department can share with us or present this team to us, that team to have the zonal approval, so they can tell us the minutes between them and the municipalities, them representing the NPOs, that the NPO doesn't have this. Whereas you cannot say, I came into this, I'll give you a chance. I came into this NPOs, all of them, they didn't comply. But I want to know from the officials, out of these 10 NPOs, how many have you assisted? We call it normally capacity building of this NPO, and there is always money to capacitate this. So I just, when we are presenting it for the record and for honorable members to
take you back and ask that. I think Sipho, you might remember, I think it was in the previous term, we actually had the department come before the committee and they claimed that they had been engaging municipality. So I think in program 5, there's also a capacitation of NPOs. So let's ask not just M&M to come through, but also the capacitation unit to say, how many NPOs have you capacitated from what they claimed they were doing previously? Thank you, Chair.
You see, Honorable Tseche is speaking about the previous administration. So as this, we're gonna ask them. Yeah, we're gonna ask that again, Noni. Let's make sure that they answer us on this, because I'm worried we are left with few years now.
Thank you, Chair. I will now touch on the forced conversion of DICs to CHBC model. To give a background, 2023, DSD requested DIC to convert to CHBC, and they were given just few days because there was a due date of the 5th converting, or you have a risk of losing funding. And in the same year, April, DICs in the
to get wisdom from Honorable Ntsege. Honorable Ntsege, in 2023, the department decided to kill this season. Yeah, maybe if you can share with us when they are here. I'm not trying to promote you. I just want to understand, because it must have passed through the. So what was their main reason? And now everybody is suffering because these ones are dead. Just share with us.
Chair, I think 2023 was the year of reprioritization. It was not just the sector, all the welfare sectors that are funded by the department. At the beginning, it was a call to defund old age, disability, this sector, and move all money to substance abuse. There was a call to prioritize substance abuse at the expense of all sectors. The committee fought. It was a more than 6-month fight. We know the pie is small, but it's better to retain all the sectorial fundings that are happening. It did do a lot of damage. It was a painful year, honestly, to remember. But what happened, I don't have the timelines here before me, but at the end of the day, there was 278 million that was unallocated due to non-compliance. When we checked that, it was 100. So, yeah, it was, I think that, let me stop there, Chair, but it gives you some context of what had happened that year. But it was mainly 4 programs: older persons, disability, this sector, and what is it, older persons, disability, children, which is this sector. No, shelters was different, but there was a 4th one, Chair, but I can give you detail later. I can't remember all of them. But the aim was to prioritize substance abuse. But obviously, between sectors, portfolio committee, the decision was reversed. Less the 278 million that was unallocated, which meant 171 NPOs were defunded.
All right.
So I'm not going to give you more than that detail, Chair, that we can discuss at committee alone. Thank you.
Okay. All right. No, I think, Noli, I think you once told the SIPO is that time when suddenly Program 5 had a lot of money. Oh, now we know. Okay, we can still reverse that. It's all right.
And with that reprioritization, to add, the department reprioritized food security and substance. And that reprioritization deemed NPOs as non-compliant, and it did affect NPOs to seek external or private funding, because there was that risk to support non-compliant organizations. In July 2023, same year, there was a call proposal from the department, and DICs applied as CHBCs. Then later, within 3 months, it was withdrawn because there was a due lack of budget allocations. And then that left 10,200 children vulnerable without structures or services. The negative impact of defunding DIC, there was an increase in children neglected and unsupervised children, increased disengagement from art and health services. And this happened mostly, we're still affected by COVID, where children were not accessing facilities. And then DIC had to convert or not to be funded by that time. And there was a rise in teenage pregnancy, and Department of Health released a stats in that year of number of teenage pregnancy within the province, increased GPV cases involved in minors, increased substance abuse and schools dropout,
increased malnutrition and food security. There was a reduced early detection of abuse and exploitation, increased mental health challenges, and greater exposure to criminal activities, because if a child is hungry, they tend to look other avenues to survive. Funding challenges with ESD. There's a shifting compliance requirements. In the beginning, it was a health certificate, zoning, and now we are in NARSO. So we wonder the next, yeah. And there's insufficient number of DICs. In COJ, there were 34 DICs funded by the department, and currently we are having 5, which is not enough, because if you can look at the population in the province, city of Johannesburg has more residents than other areas. Their budget cut with increased beneficiaries target, EPWPs, it has been covered. They are earning below the minimum wage. There's delay quarterlies. My colleagues have covered that. It's also been covered. And we have recommendations that we feel that can assist in this crisis, is to reinstate and stabilize DIC's funding. Why DICs? DICs are a family-oriented service which we are not sure if our vulnerable children, they even receive cooked meals. To develop standard national compliance framework, as it was mentioned earlier, that the municipality bylaws are not the same. So it is a process that is not easy because of interventions that need to happen from department to department. We also request the introduction of multi-year function agreements, adjust budget for as things go up, every budget speech, review EPWP stipend level, strengthen governance and technical support for NPOs, are critical community-based child protection and develop hubs. The regulatory instability and funding withdrawal have created significant a coordinated and sustainable policy response in urgent requirement to restore stability and protect our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Presentation?
No.
You're just going to speak?
Yeah, I'm going to speak. My name is Leaders are busy presenting. It really hit me hard, knowing what is happening. When you see us, Chair, hitting the streets, it means we are frustrated. Looking for help that are not opened for us. Tshwane has 7 regions. We call them clusters. That's how it is divided. I was tasked to focus on unfunded NPOs. Though I am going to cover some of the things that are a problem within. When an organization is closed or as an organization is defunded, it means staff will go vulnerable because we will no longer receive services. Then that simply means strengthen within that particular community. So the issue of defunding organizations, it is troubling our communities. You cannot go to a manager today and say that is done by officials. You see, in social development, we've got social workers that are monitoring organizations and of monitoring. Maybe they are monitoring finances and so forth. These are two groups. These ones are social workers, and these ones are people, but they don't have same information. When an M&E person tells you that, don't tell me about social workers, I'm not a social worker. Don't tell me social work issues. When your social workers say, no, this is not how we do things. Because if I continue to do it like this, it means I become non-compliant. And funding will go. And we know that funding does go. More so you don't do that. Because you know, Chair, fundraising is difficult. So we end up solemnly relying to the department, because we are doing this social development work in our areas, whereby we are the foot soldiers, whereby we are the foot soldiers. You see, it's very difficult. And when on to say, we're not saying when organizations are doing wrong, they must not be penalized. What must happen? Why is not that happening? Why would you decide to take funding in the middle of a financial year, whereas we've already made our staff members to sign a contract of 12 months, them jobs. And then it means those people must get place to stay. They are paying on monthly basis. Imagine me telling that person that June not come in. I was told not to utilize whatever that is in the account anymore. It is difficult. If will be well managed, put the organization in administration. In the meantime, take them for capacitation, so that they come back. If an organization is defunded, a lot of people with those people within the organization, the manager, deal with the manager, and then have a plan for this remaining group of people. I'll take my situation, my organization. And then while we were busy with these meetings that we had with the department, there was a decision there that, and then because of the manager is member of the CSF, the manager is doing interviews with papers, because they are asking, said what is happening. It means you're going to mention your relationship with this department. Then automatically that will disadvantage that organization. While those people are waiting, member of that particular organization. But so you see, this is the problem we find ourselves in. And you become vulnerable. You become stressed. You fight for these organizations. So you need not earlier on, Mama related what is happening to her. I'm sitting here. I have sounds in my head. The sounds that you can hear. I'm the only one of the work we are doing. Working for community has made this to you. Maybe it was better if you went and worked for Pick and Pay. It would be better. So you came and worked for the community. You were not sick. You are now sick. Your funding is gone. You have children that you took to school. Now, because of you no longer afford, your children are now at home. They can't attend because of the special needs that they have. Because you must pay. You are helping people, but you can't help yourself. I remember calling some of the managers to say, "Ke kopela the food parcel." Not for a beneficiary, for my kids. So this is what we are subjected to on daily basis. And it's like we are creating stories to make the department look bad. And we are not. This is what is happening. It's not a movie, it's real life. We came to service our communities. We are human beings. We do make mistakes, yes, that's true. And we are not denying making mistakes. But when you are dealt with, you are not dealt with to be alive tomorrow. You are destroyed so that you don't come back. We have managers. We used to have the late Ntate Palama, who we know as managers, that he came to this having cancer. But because of the stress that he was having, he deteriorated and passes on. Just because of the funding was stopped just like that. He didn't know what to say. I mean, you go to staff, you tell them, funding is gone. If you did not register them for UIF, then it means it's gone. You take the bag that you came with, you go home. So, victimization is a problem. Compliance, it's a problem. With compliance, imagine they ask a health certificate for an organization that operates in an informal settlement. You won't qualify for a health certificate if you are operating in an informal settlement. To start with, you're going to have a problem of toilets. In most of those areas, there are no flushing toilets. So you won't get a certificate. So it means that service must just stop. What is happening with those beneficiaries? To acquire land itself, that's something we're supposed to be assisted with. You know, you give an NPO land, I tell you, Chair, give us land, you will see we will develop those lands. We will build those lands. Because of, we don't have these certificates, because of we don't have land. We operate in churches, we operate in places that are not zoned. But why do we choose those areas? We choose those areas because of we see a need within those areas. We know that this area is vulnerable. We know this is where children get raped. This is where children get killed. This is where children get abused. This is where a lot of alcohol is is drunk. This is where drugs are. Then now we get into those areas. Some of the areas, even police don't want to go into those areas. They'll tell you that a police van cannot go into that area. But we go. We go in, we get those children, we take them to hospital. We do services in the most dangerous areas that you cannot even go. But we do for the sake of our communities. When you take food parcels from us.
I want you to go to conclusion, but before you go to conclusion, I want you to just share with us what is it that majority of you will say. Like, I want you, the one, don't say it's you, but what you said to these officials that you knew that they are going to cut my throat. And when I say they're going to cut your throat, like, funding is gone. Because here you say you acknowledge there is a fly in the milk. All that we need to do is to flush that fly out and then decide whether you can still drink the milk or not drink it. But you acknowledge that there are 3 flies, center manager, whoever, that cause problem. But instead, they just kill the whole NPO. And when you destroy the whole NPO, you've destroyed the community. So I want you, as you are concluding, like so honorable members can understand some of the things that irritate these people who, the Department of Social Development, it says it for yourself, is a social development. It's not the Department of Creation of Stress. Because we can simply call it a Department of Creation of Stress, and then it gets funded, and then it creates a lot of stress and flush a lot of people out of this earth. Yeah, I want you, because I want to be with you. Not that this is a session, problem session, but I like the points that you are putting, but you also share with us the stumbling blocks that are causing this. You will see when we conclude how we arrive here, because I can see some of you, you don't ask, maybe the CDB ones will ask, but Chair and you go, where were you all the time? After so many years, we never thought that there is, and the attention you are giving us, we do attend meetings, you will be stopped. Stop. And then you continue, stop. But here is the new legislature. Now you understand your vote. Now you understand the value of your vote. That we are here because you voted for us and we were assigned this job. And we are saying, here we are. What we do is called focus intervention study. That many committees are going through such as we are being judged, because we have to come with the facts. And then out of this, there will be a report that we will kind of discuss with the department as we are doing our oversight. So what you're saying here is not going to fall on the ground. Most of that is our second year, honorable members. No? If you notice that most of what we have done, if you go back, there is lots of improvement. That is why I ask, that is the Melsrose still the albatross? And I deliberately asked that question, because I know it's sorted. And then I would like to know that region, which is Ekurhuleni, that is still hanging there to Melsrose, and funding is being held, while we know that is sorted. I'm expecting you to have been funded by now. We are in February. But conclude, but share with me that point, my brother.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Mainly, what creates maybe this problem is that it's not knowing. Maybe it's officials not knowing what are our responsibilities as managers of the organization. Because I thought this was a partnership whereby I run the organization that I manage. You come as a support structure. Then when this money that you are bringing to us makes you to be on top of us, then it's no longer a partnership. It's something else. The problem here emanates from a manager who wants to stand for himself. It means we are not given enough room to caution things you don't understand. If you are vocal, you become a problem. You will be targeted for becoming vocal. But if you are not vocal, you are a yes bus kind of a person, then your organizations won't have problems. That's why most of our organizations, they won't come. You see issue of victimization. No organization that wants to come forward, no manager who wants to come forward and say, I was victimized. Why? Because you know that money will go. They will come in, they will dig deep in your organization, they will find that missing link, then they will write that beautiful report that they write to say how bad you are as a manager. Then your organization and you are gone. So it's a fear that has been instilled in us. I was telling my staff on Wednesday to say to them, Lighty King, since I lost funding, I'm far better than when I used to have funding. And the managers is true. Since I lost funding, I'm in a far better health than when I used to have money from social development. Yes, I have stress because come month end I must pay bills, do all those things. I don't have money to do those things. You see? But it's a far better stress than what these managers are enduring. So, Chair, you see, if social workers can understand the role of being social workers, we will not have this problem. If M&E people can understand that they are working with a social development programs, if they can understand that, we won't have the problem that we are having. We won't fight over 500,000. I can't die. Even if it can be 100 million. 100 million cannot take my life. And then you take your salary home, you are told you are just an NPO. You can't belittle a person who does a lot in the community that you are not doing. It's not like we are not from school. We are from school. So, what needs to be done here? What we recommend when there are funding cuts, SLA must not be put aside. Because SLA states what must happen. Let's start there. Let's have proper corrective measures. And then, then mlato fele bophelo bo tswele pele. Unlike killing this person and then destroying the whole community. As I finish, I said SLA must be followed. And funding cuts changes lives, Chair. In Tshwane, when we start, we had 42 funded organizations. we are now remaining with 35. 6 of those are DICs, 29 of those are HCBC. But they are HCBC because of main of the 20 HCBC, they were converted to become the HCBC. You see, my organization is called Bophelong Drop-in Center, but I was an HCBC because of the compliance problem that we had. And funny, I used to operate within a government institution. I was operating in Father's Mangalisum Kajwa, but I was not compliant in their building. I couldn't get a certificate operating in their own building at the time, before the decommissioning that is happening there. So that's the problem that we are having. A region that has 7 clusters, it cannot operate with 35 organizations, because mostly we're dealing with children in schools. We must support teachers. Teachers are stressed. They want counseling from us because these children are giving them problems. You see, that's what we're doing. So psychosocial support is a serious one. If there's something that I'm leaving behind, I know my colleagues, they were going to come in, but as you say, Chair, it will be in you. I thank you.
Yeah, it looks, you say a lot. I don't think they will come in. You have covered everything. When is lunch? Okay, Sidibeng, make your presentation, and then I will love, after Sidibeng, if we can go to lunch, because I don't want you to eat lunch in a rush. But when we come back, we know that we will be closing up, because I will only add. So make your presentation. I won't stop you until you finish. Then after your presentation, we go to lunch.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'll try to be fast because I think we are hungry.
No, don't be fast. No, just hit those points.
Good afternoon, colleagues, honorable members. Thank you for the platform. Thank you to all our presenters. We came together as a province and we decided on collective presentations, and I think you did justice to us as a province because we share so much in common across this province. We might be in different regions, but we are faced with similar programs and problems. Chairperson, we are called the HIV unit, and we were told that HIV is no longer a pandemic. But when you're on the ground, it is a pandemic. We are called the HIV unit, but we are a comprehensive service provider. Substance, GBV, VEP, they are born from this program. But we are treated the harshest because of compliance. And don't get me wrong, Chairperson, I'm not saying that we should not comply. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't want to repeat what previous speakers had already said. We will be lamenting here the whole day because of our frustration and the disregard for our existence. I'm coming from Sidibeng. We have 3 municipalities. We've got only 12 drop-in centers. Unfortunately, some of them were closed down due to non-compliance. Others were converted due to non-compliance. In Midvaal, we only have 1 drop-in center, and Midvaal is vast. There's a lot of plots, there's a lot of informal settlements, but we only have 1. And then we have this issue of sustainable livelihood, so we can no longer say that CHBCs are taking care of those households that are not receiving a daily meal. Because sustainable livelihood wakes up today and tells you that we will not come to a CHBC because we need to take care of municipal staff. One day you are asked to submit a list of 100 beneficiaries, and then you are given 29 food parcels only. Yet you are staring 300 households in the face that is hungry. We have excessive hunger due to the close down of drop-in centers. We have an area in Everton. There was an organization called Psych. They were closed down. Nothing's happening in that area. There's extreme hunger. We had a drop-in center in Sicelo, in Midvaal. It was closed down. There's extreme hunger. We had a drop-in center in small farms. It was shut down. There's extreme hunger. And when we asked the department, we advocated, we wrote a letter to them to say, there are organizations that are operating. Why are you not funding them in the place of the ones that you closed down? We were sent from pillar to post organizations last year. So with us, it's always a compromisation. Should of hungry children, hungry families. We have that issue also of social workers versus M&E. In Fishkill, in Lisedi, we have a drop-in center that has a health certificate that speaks to 300 beneficiaries that can eat from the center. Social work no longer getting food parcels. And M&E comes and tells her, you're not going to do that. So now you are in a predicament, standing in front of you, you can't service them. Because M&E says to you, no, there's no budget. Yet there are hungry children, because in the same area, bringing your food parcels at 11, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, beneficiaries are still waiting for those food parcels. They get there with rotten vegetables, and we are supposed to serve our community that kind of food. Unapologetic. It's as if you are hungry, you wanted food, so we're giving it to you. Why are you complaining? That is the attitude. I don't want to repeat what has already been said. I've got drop-in centers with me today who has been converted before. There's still one that is still in conversion. And that area is suffering. We have made plea bargains to the Department of Social Development. They're not hearing us. I was happy when you spoke about capacity building, because it's in my recommendation to say that, where were you? Because we are given these organizations, we are starting them out of passion, but someone needs to walk us through what the requirements would be. You get a budget that speaks to 200 Rand a month for stationery. This is not a tech-savvy department. They want you to compile a report that consists of many pages. They want social auxiliary workers to do files that consist of many pages. You can't even buy one box of paper with a 200 Rand. Yet you need to report. If you take that 3 months, 600, you buy one box, you are done. They give you 50 Rand for cleaning material a month, yet a drop-in center must be in good state when they come for monitoring and evaluation. So how realistic is this budget that they're talking about? Honorable members, we do this out of passion, but it doesn't mean that we should be abused in the process. I'm going to stop there, but I want to ask this portfolio committee to make us understand why you are there. Thank you for this opportunity. It's the first time I'm sitting in this in all my years, and I really hope that it's not all talk in this fancy building, but that action will actually take place. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Your presentation, straight to the point. I can see that, and majority of what you're crying about, it's exactly, because I'm now tempted to, because it's 1:15, I know honorable members won't come and join after they eat. Wait. The problem is if you can come to a meeting and you speak and you don't hear this table. Because majority of what you were going to say is what has been said. And I want to remain for those who like to have a word with me as the chair. Unfortunately, when you are the chair, you are the one who's going to have to remain. So after the presentation were good. I mean, what they said, Western, is what you repeat in Ekurhuleni, is what you repeat in Johannesburg, is what you repeat in Tshwane and all that. So I hear those who want to say, we have coordinators, you're going to talk to me. But I want to give honorable members a chance to respond to you so you can hear the going. Now, I also want to state that item number 6 from the presentation that I see here, it need me or this committee to meet with the MMC section where you are not there, so they can give us the reasons why it's not for. So we have achieved the objective of today with you. So honorable members, you had the inputs. I want to start from there. That side, MMC, if you feel you want to say something, great, it's all right, but I want us, and then we're going to conclude with Honorable Kaba. After that, you have lunch. I will come back as the chair. I'm going to release you. So those who feel like they wanted to say certain things.
Thank you, Chair. From my side, I won't ask questions, but it's just that
Chair, I've got a lot. Should I go last?
No.
You must say it so you can see that you are standing between us.
I think it's that I can't remember Mazi. Because one of my questions was going to be the number of beneficiaries that have suffered since through the Tibetani. If you can take all your MPOs and go through a provincial report of, on average, every NPO was looking after 100 people, meet their work target and psychosocial targets without food parcels, which I understood would have been a big draw card for people to come for psychosocial services. How many people we are losing, because psychosocial services, as I think you said, is a priority. But if you don't have the draw card of coming to eat, then children don't come, and then we are going to lose those kids to social ills. And then again, I don't know if you are able to also give us an idea of how many people are defaulting because of the food issues on their ARVs, because that's a big thing to understand. I think somebody talked a little bit to the side effects, but to get a picture in the province of what it looks like now that children and beneficiaries are not getting access to these services, how many people are actually not necessarily being reported by health, but just defaulting, because who's going to take ARVs on an empty stomach, you know? And then there was a conversation about the objectives that were set out. I want to understand who set out the objectives. Was it DSD setting them out for the NPOs, or the NPOs set them up themselves and then DSD has to respond to it with funding? I hope that is clarity. One of the things I also wanted to understand is when you guys do the work you do, I think you are also assisting the department with household profiling to get a picture of what is happening. So I think that would be important that Betani to also include it in your presentation for later to send to the chair so it can be shared in the committee. So here's a difficult question that I'd like to ask, and I'm not going to take on the work of government. I'm here as an oversight portfolio committee. My understanding was that there was budget cuts, okay, to the department. Remember when I was unpacking the reprioritization year? Sorry, somebody said,
Ignore them.
Okay. Okay. So I think because we are consulting here, it's important for us to also have your voices. if there's a budget cut, and I know everybody wants an increase, everybody wants to see money come in, move with inflation, salaries being minimum wage, challenge and ask, if we had to say as a portfolio committee, budget cut, and the budget cut, obviously all sectors of the department will feel the impact. If you were consulted, how would you handle the budget cut? Chair, forgive me, but one of the questions I had asked the department, I think it's 2023, 2024, the applications for funding, holistically, because I didn't go into specific sectors, there was 11,000 applications for funding. Only 1,800 NPOs could be funded. So if there was budget funding cuts, how would you advise us as portfolio to guide department in terms of how to deal with budget cuts? Obviously, the one thing that is immediate is consult. Don't just cut without consulting. Talk to the sector. Ask how to do it so that when the cuts come, you have, one, being consulted, two, give input to how you can try and survive with that one slice of bread versus the whole loaf that you used to have, if it's making sense. Then, I think you've partly covered me, but with the food parcels and sustainable livelihoods, one thing that has always bogged me from when I remember these cuts coming through to your sectors, access. When you're told to give the 100 names to the department, is everybody collecting from a central sustainable livelihood food bank? How are you managing it from Hammanskraal? How are you managing it from the Vaal? Are you giving money for the collection, or is the department delivering the food to you? So it's not okay. Because that part I wanted to also understand, to say, I gave you before you'd buy. Now you must now still give because people are expecting. Okay. I've been covered on the SLAs. For this year now, 2026, 2027, have NPO signed their SLAs? Sorry, let me ask the question, and please may I ask, because of, I don't want to be there, like I'm being told I'm going to be between you and lunch. Please take the notes so that Ndadebe Ketani can do a report of where we are with SLA funding on the 2024 adjudication process and application for funding, so that Chair and the team or the oversight committee, we are able to see, because remember, come April, that's when your first tranche payment should come in. So we need to get an understanding of, you've gone through the applications, you've presented your business plans. Now, have you signed your SLA, or where you are in that process? And then I would love to have known what the criteria that you were given in terms of sustainable development is versus your own criteria in terms of food parcels, so we can interrogate why there's a weakness in the system, right? And then outside of compliance, because I think everybody talked to compliance a lot, I would like maybe to also get an indication of some of the reasons why NPOs are being defunded from this sector, so we have a full picture. Was it just a bullying issue? Is it truly a compliance issue? Please, can we have that? And then I think, sure. I'm trying to think if I should ask this. I think I'm going to leave my last question, Chair. I'll look at how to bring it through, and I'm sure if we want it later, it can be transferred to the Tibetani, but if I can get those questions answered, Chair, and I'm not asking them to respond now, I think maybe through you, the Tibetani comes back and we have a comprehensive table as members. Correct, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Abrams.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you once again to the staff. When you are passionate about being on a committee, social development, You don't just end up being a politician, you end up being an activist. And you feel, and we are going to look at finding tangible, operational, financial solutions to overcome all of these hurdles that's threatened. You see, when you come to a stakeholder engagement such as today, typing onto solutions becomes so easy. And eventually, we are going to keep this department accountable. And if you think Chair doesn't play, we don't play as well. We take them, we go head on with. Financial instability, number one. There's a lot of chronic delays, which is affecting people emotionally. Occupancy certificates, and the municipality needs to come to the party on that one. The regularity tension eventually affects our kids and the safety, and our kids are caught in the middle of that. When we move on to the summary of how we can assist this, how this committee can assist you as stakeholders and NPOs. Number one, the financial and the administrative relief is that we need to ensure time-use payments. We are committed to enforce strict compliances without national funding policies to ensure the service level agreements. It needs to be handled from a provincial, local platform. We need to go down onto the ground. Streamlining compliances. A review of funding application processes will be undertaken, are consistent, and they are accompanied by technical support rather than just penalties. Advocating for realistic subsidies. The committee is advocating for a review of subsidy rates to better reflect the actual cost of delivery. Because there already you have indicated to us there's a big currently happening. The regularity, clarity on the partnership. You've also spoken about, Mr. Donald, you've also spoken there should be a partnership. Is resolving the baby box impasses. We need to facilitate a regularity framework that accommodates emergency child reception mechanisms, such as baby savers, to prevent legal disputes from hindering child safety. Problematic integration and expansion. We need to strengthen the holistic care, where we will work better to integrate NPOs into existing government initiatives. And there needs to be more a transparent, more a regular, consistent communication out from the department to the stakeholders. Scaling down on evidence-based modules, building on success of the boy-child initiative as well. And we need to expand on partnership to address gangsterism, substance abuse, and youth development across more regions. And there specifically, I'm speaking about the boy-child, which is very close to my heart as well. Enhancing school safety. The memorandum of understanding between the DSD and the Department of Education needs to be pulled in here regarding the school social work programs. I'm almost done, Chair. They're still keeping the lunch warm. Coordinating the data sharing. Implementing a simple window approach. You see, administration has been made very, not with this committee. We also need to look at reaching out to infrastructure with regards to, there is a lot of land voice. So from legislative side and from this committee side, we will use our oversight roles to hold the DSD accountable for their financial management. Reaffirmation that the Gauteng children's sector and the Committee of the Social Development Committee share a common goal, the safety and the well-being of every child in this province. Relationship towards a collaborative partnership. So what I am suggesting here, Chair, is that a joint task team must be established to monitor. Workshop must be convened to co-design the streamline of compliance work framework and quarterly review meetings must be scheduled to assess the implementations of these interventions. Lastly, I really thank each one of you sitting here today as parents, as fathers, as mothers, and who has dedicated your lives, your hearts, your heartbeats to our communities. I thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. To thank our stakeholders for honoring the invitation, and thank you, Chair, for enabling this environment or a platform for them ukuthi bazobhodla ngesizulu sisho kanjalo. And we really thank you for expressing yourselves and your challenges and your concerns without fear. Chair, the issue of threats and intimidations must be addressed. It boils down to bullying and victimization, for lack of a better word. The issue of training and capacity building, that is not a luxury. It is a risk management tool. There must be monitoring of staff stress and staff morale. Last week, we were doing oversights, and the common question that you've been asking is there anyone counseling or offering psychological assistance for staff? If there is no staff morale, how are you going to support your beneficiaries? So that is also very, very important. And I'm going to dive into the 3 issues of this FIS. Number 1, in terms of to understand that from time to time, departments, they go through budget cuts, but there must be consideration before cutting budgets. First of all, stakeholders must be engaged early so that they can prepare. We need to avoid this all of a sudden shut down or cut off of budgets without engaging the stakeholders, without allowing service providers to adjust. We also need implementation of gradual phasing. You cannot just cut off without engaging the beneficiaries. It's really unfair. And in terms of continuity, we need to put questions together and ask the department what contingency plan exists to prevent closure of budgets. I think our budgets or the allocations are very, very flawed in terms of alignment. You know, we need to 5 years ago and expect that the price of handy is not changing. That's just being ridiculous, and it's very, very impossible. So we need to consider all those facts in our.
Thank you very much, honorable members. At least this gives hope to the stakeholders who are here that share with you is that as the committee, you can go to the YouTube channel for the legislature, and then you will get all this, because you will get, what's the matter? What's the matter? Passed, sorry. Yeah. So, like I said, you will find them there. And this is your committee. It doesn't mean this round table, today's round table. Is there any changes after we've met? Are we seeing any improvement? That will then make you to judge us as the as the portfolio committee, whether we have teeth or we don't have teeth. So there were questions. So this is the committee, and the committee does oversight over the department. We want to share with you that part of the reason why you see us doing this, which we call the effort, ourselves as a committee, our performance. And we also have monitoring and evaluation within the legislature. And then we realized that we were our performance at performance 60, not even 70. And we realized that there is this important KPI or KRA. Then we took a decision that we will come to this. So, honorable members, I can tell you, if after what we have 70, I think you can put another new chair. Because with this kind of work that we are doing, we must be hitting at the nerve center of the having all this, raise them, and they must come up with the beneficiaries. And you said it without being asked. So now we are aware of that impact. And then we wanted to engage with you as stakeholders and also solution to strengthen the delivery, the compliance, and NPO partnership models. Not department being the big brother down to, but the NPO partnership. You know. So, and the collaboration framework. So we will see that. So in our way forward is that the committee will consolidate all the respond, because they have to tell us within a month, like Honorable Abram says. We put a deadline, you don't just give a comment. We want to hear. Within a month, we call you again as you are. We will do that, but I will give guidance on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, your inputs have been high. Still repeat. For the Tshwane, for the Sidibeng, Tshwane, and Johannesburg, and Madam, there, she also wanted to talk. I would like us, after we eat, maybe let's check the time before I give Honorable Kaba to, it's 26 past, let's say it's 2:30. We're going to have a long lunch, because after that lunch you are free to go. But I'm gonna be seated here at around 3:10, so that for anyone who want to raise some other issues, I'm here as the chair. You've got those gadgets. Please leave those gadgets where they are. Don't take them home. They don't even operate on your phone. So don't think of making them this. You said, here I found myself a nice my earphones. They are not earphones. So let's leave them there so that they can collect them back and they will assist us next time. I'm going to request Honorable Kaba to give us a vote of thanks, and then we go to it. Thank you very much. It has been very nice to get inputs from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to express our sincere gratitude as a committee to our chief guest, which is you, our stakeholders. And a special thanks to all participants and presenters for your inputs. You have brought life and energy to the program. And I can assure you sitting here that your concerns did not fall on deaf ears. We have a very committed and determined chairperson. We are very blessed to have him in this committee. And as he has promised, that you will get a feedback session to all your concerns. And thank you for being part of the FIS. Thank you.
Lunch is served down there. They will